Okay, cowabunga. Let's all say it at the same time.
Cowabunga.
1, 2, 3. Cowabunga. Good, such a great word. Exploring the lost art of celebrating. So Cynthia Correll is going to share with us her expertise in celebrating all things, because that's what she does. She is an expert and an award-winning mixed media artist and creative entrepreneur known as a communication architect. By simplifying, there's that word again, simplifying. By simplifying information with the use of visuals, she successfully communicates complex ideas. In her thought-provoking and whimsical work, she combines art, logic, and structure to inspire and entertain the viewer. By generating more harmony and joy in the world, she helps to motivate social reform. Cynthia naturally looks to the future, confronting traditional ideas by tapping into her instinct for embracing change and seeing possibilities. She's the author of the national award-winning 5-star book, The Land of Ampersand, where imagination runs wild. Specifically today, in this busy and stressful world, who the heck has time for celebrating? Cynthia does. Cynthia shows us how implementing small, easy rituals of celebration can have an energizing and uplifting effect on our friends, family, clients, and I'm going to say mostly ourselves. Without further ado, please join us.
Cowabunga! Cowabunga! The power of celebration. Well, why do we care about celebrating anyway?
It's fun.
Well, we've experienced it. It's fun.
Yeah.
It brings happiness. It's all about joy. And we usually celebrate with each other. So we're building stronger relationships. And the science tells us that we actually create positive neurochemicals. And not only that, it's good for our physical health. Lowers stress, lowers blood pressure. There's so many benefits. We also see in the corporate world that, for instance, the football franchise puts time and money into celebrating the Gatorade shower. Now they're doing dances at touchdown. There are all kinds of celebrations. And we have our personal celebrations, don't we? You know, birthdays, anniversaries, retirement with friends and family. So what if we made those celebrations more powerful? What if they were more meaningful? What if we touched more lives? What if we changed the world? One small celebration at a time. So today I'm going to share with you 4 ways that I actually incorporate celebrations in my life. And I'm hoping it'll inspire you, give you some ideas of things that you can actually run with and apply to not only your life, but also your business. So the first one is life celebration. We've all heard of the celebration of life, right?
Right.
Well, why do we celebrate life after someone is gone? I have never understood this. And my moonshot dream is to change society so that we begin celebrating life before someone leaves us.
Amen.
Why not celebrate with them in person? So it could look more like this. Well, about almost 20 years ago, I invented a system called Limelight Legacy. And Limelight Legacy is all about celebrating life and including the person we're celebrating as the guest of honor. We're shining a spotlight, we're putting them in the limelight. And at the same time, we're capturing their life story as a legacy. So today what I'm going to do is step you through all the parts of doing this on your own. Clients have hired me over the years to help them do this, and I think it's something that anyone could do. And of course, I'm here to help you, you know, in any way if you want some help. But here's how it looks. So the first thing you want to do is collect memories. And you're collecting memories from all the families and friends. And it's so easy to do now with email and text. You just send out a message saying, you know, give us your favorite memories of this person. So my friend Vicki hired me to do Limelight Legacy for her husband Joe when he turned 60. So we sent out the email, we got all these wonderful memories. Then the next thing I did was I created the Q&A. It's like a trivia game about someone's life. I took the memories and I turned them into questions and answers. And of course, the key is to wordsmith the questions and answers. So the punchline's in the answer, right? You want to make it entertaining. And then you want to throw a party. So here's what the party looks like. Joe is the center of attention. Everyone is there, and the card game becomes a party game. So everyone has a chance to pick up a card, read the question, quiz the group. Everyone responds to the best of their knowledge. And then Joe gets to tell the rest of the story. So here's an example. Why did Joe and his high school friend, what did Joe and his high school friends leave on his uncle's front porch? The answer is a Volkswagen Bug. So what happens is when you have things like that, people in the audience can then say, oh, and you know what, Joe, when you were doing that, we were doing this over here, and you didn't know about this part. And it becomes a totally interactive celebration of life. Not only that, the deck of cards becomes a gift. It's actually the life biography, a Cliff Notes version, that is a keepsake that you can give as a gift to each of Joe's offspring and siblings.
Wow.
So here are some of the different ones that I've done, various age groups, even the 19-year-old. Of course, I did this for my parents. The very first one I did 20 years ago was for my dad when he turned 85. And what do you give the person who has everything? So I came up with a Q&A, and I'm telling you, it changed my relationship with him. Wow. He was such a disciplinarian in my mind. And what I learned was he was so playful. He played games with us. He had nicknames for different things. It was really transformative. A client has told me also that he wanted to interview his dad for the card game because he really didn't know that much about his dad. And he said it really changed his relationship with his dad doing that. And in his case, and some of these cases, you know, people were alive and healthy, and we had a wonderful celebration. And not long after that, some of them passed. And so this became a very meaningful thing. When both of my parents, or each of my parents, passed, I flew home to Connecticut for the funeral. And one of the best things was having that deck of cards to read through on the plane. It helped me to compose the eulogy. And I was able to deliver a eulogy that really captured each of my parents and captured their playfulness and their joy, as well as some of the details of their life. So here's an example from my mom's deck of cards. On a cold New Year's Eve, headed to a party, what happened to Fern, she was age 75, when her husband turned on the car seat warmer? The answer is her black leatherette pants melted. And the rest of the story is my dad complained for years for having to take the car in. I mean, it melted into the seats. It was, you know. So what was she doing at that age, you know, with that outfit? That was my mom. So now if this is too complicated, there's another way you can do a life celebration. And here's how to keep it simple. Let's say you have a party coming up that you're going to be celebrating someone. Just send out an email to people and ask them, what do you love and admire about that person? You collect all of those, print them out on little pieces of paper, and put them in a beautiful container, and you deliver that as a gift. And then they can read through those pieces of paper if they want to in the group, and feel the joy in that and share it with everyone. Of course, the book you see here, this is the one that all of us at e4e, we collected what we love and admire about Bill Purnett when he retired from e4e, and we put that together with pictures and produced this coffee table book. Here's an example of our friend Lethea Owens again. Wow. And this was one of her birthdays. She's holding a ceramic container that looks like a purse. And we collected all the things we love and admire about Lethea, and you can see her reaction. You know, one makes her laugh, the next one makes her cry. And this is the kind of thing you can expect. The third idea I have for you is a business celebration. And we've all looking for ways to have a competitive advantage and expand our business. Well, it goes back to celebrating those national days. And we all know about the National Peanut Butter Day, the National Kitchen Sink Day, all of those things. Well, 2 years ago, I learned there's a National Ampersand Day, and I want to thank Karen Fox for telling me about that, because it's really made a big difference. So when I heard about the National Ampersand Day, since I have a book, The Land of Ampersand, which the ampersand, if you don't know, is the shorthand for the word and. It's the little symbol above the 7. So I decided to throw a party. And it was really fun. I had a little trivia game about the ampersand. I learned there was actually an ampersand cocktail that was invented in the 30s at the Waldorf Astoria. So of course that became one of the highlights, the mocktail and the cocktail. And then the following year I had a few more people, and my friends Ann and Bill came dressed in ampersand shirts, so they really got into it. And at that party last year, I decided, you know, it's great to have a party and celebrate. What if it had more meaning? And so I decided at the party to have a jar and challenge my guests. If anyone uses the word but when they could have used the word and, you're fined. And please put something in the jar. So the next thing I know, one of my friends said, but, pulled out a $50 bill and put it in the jar. And a few days later, I've raised $500.
Yeah.
It was just amazing. So what I ended up doing was using that money for a scholarship. And I've started a scholarship fund for an emerging creative. The scholarship went to Danny Bess. He's a full-time adult student, art student at Merrimack. And this year, I'm having a bigger party and fundraiser. And Danny is our guest of honor, and he'll have some of his art. I've started a crowd fund this year. I'm hoping to raise $2,000. I'm over $700 already, and the party is 3 weeks away. And I've also established a scholarship selection committee. And I'll tell you about these folks. The two graduation hats here mean that I'm adding a second scholarship. So I'm going to have a scholarship for a full-time adult student and a scholarship for a high school student. And then I'm going to look into creating a nonprofit or partnering with an art nonprofit organization. So our team here is Danny Bess, the award winner from last year. Byron Jones teaches high school art, and he's an amazing artist. Kathy Bell also teaches art, and she's an incredible artist and web designer. And then myself, so we'll be the selection committee. So here's what you could do, just taking, and look at the anniversary of your business. Maybe there's something you can do to expand into the community, make a difference. Okay, the last, the last celebration is something I call the celebration lightning round. So some of you know I'm president of a board, a nonprofit organization. And I also run a mastermind group every month. And so this is my practice. Every time we start a meeting, we start off with a celebration lightning round. And that means that each person answers the question, what are you celebrating in your life right now? And there's not a lot of discussion, you just go around and do that. And Mark, how much time do we have?
A little under a minute.
Okay, so we don't have time to practice that here right now, but I recommend, even if you're in a small group, like even if you're meeting somebody for a one-on-one, I did it the other day, ask, what are you celebrating right now? And it's amazing, when I do this with these groups, it's amazing what a team builder, icebreaker, it's a connection, it's a way for people to connect, and it also starts the meeting off on a positive note. So, Cowabunga, I hope you got 4 great ideas that maybe you can implement, and together with celebration, we can change the world, right?
Questions?
Oh, yeah, questions.
Comment, it's
Yes.
wonderful.
I just want to share an experience. My sister put together a scrapbook for my mother to have in the nursing home. And the scrapbook is one of those photo things you do in Hallmark or whatever. And it was a series of pictures of all kinds of family gatherings and celebrations over a period of years. And there were people gathered around, people sitting at a table, people sitting on couches, opening Christmas presents, roasting a turkey, just all kinds of things of celebrations at the family house over a period of years. And it was absolutely wonderful. And we all have copies of it. I'm the oldest of 8, so
Yes.
there's a bunch of us. So we all have copies of it. And it just
What a
grabs your
legacy.
heartstrings when you look at that.
Lovely.
I think you should write another book.
Thank you. I'm thinking of it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia.